I'm the founder of Elastos. What Elastos is, we're building a new internet, decentralized new internet with the capability of transferring value, transferring digital assets peer-to-peer. That said, actually today is we are announcing a pre-alpha in Shanghai, China Joy. We exhibited our merge mining capabilities with Bitmain in Shanghai today. So we are going to officially launch the alpha versions of Elastos, the new internet, on August 25th in Thailand. So we'll be about 3 weeks from now. That said, actually, I don't personally believe in increased TPS, sharding, or even smart contracts should play a big role in the new internet. We believe that blockchain is a trust zone, is a trust root for the new internet. And because it's a ledger and it's not logically decentralized, even though it's implemented in multiple nodes and in a decentralized way, but logically a ledger is a ledger. It's a trust root. It's not decentralized. What needs to be decentralized, actually, it's the multi-players on the internet. So that's why we are building a new tier of decentralized peer-to-peer network. We call it Elastos Carrier, which is a decentralized carrier. And on top of the carrier, we're building a new kind of virtual machines. In those virtual machines, we don't let applications or services to send and receive any network packets to guarantee the security. And also, in order to send values, not only we send ELA tokens, we also send digital assets, ebooks, movies, games, peer-to-peer. So fundamentally, I believe sending value peer-to-peer equivalents to sending code peer-to-peer. Without sending code, if you send H.264 peer-to-peer, people will easily copy your contents. So you're not going to make, you're not going to be able to monetize the digital assets you owned. And also, we have to guarantee the digital assets you owned. You own your own data. You need virtual machines. You need those digital silos to protect personal assets. That said, we are demo the pre-alpha version today, and we're going to announce the alpha in 3 weeks, and we're going to announce the beta by the end of the year. We're going to have about at least 40,000 devices installed in homes, and peer-to-peer decentralized smart home network. On top of it, we expect to have about 500,000 consumers using this new internet by the end of this year. So we do see the maturity of blockchain technology, and I believe it's good enough, it's fast enough, it's capable enough to have real applications such as a new internet. Since we're talking about dApps, dApps is decentralized apps. People should really think when you talk about dApps running, you need an execution environment. That's the key, right? Because with an app, without the execution environment, you cannot really run dApps. Secondly, then we should ask, what is a dApp? dApp is a decentralized. Decentralized meaning what? Meaning getting rid of the intermediaries. And then logically, the second question would be, who are the intermediaries, right? The first question is the runtime. The second question is the intermediaries. And actually, the intermediaries, for example, if you're running a dApp, currently in operating system, any app can send information freely into the internet, can copy your contents, can launch DDoS attacks, can inject viruses. So with that kind of apps, without the security guarantee, you cannot really have a smart economy, you cannot really have the trust of sending money peer-to-peer and in return for a fake item, right? Because so the intermediary, when you have phones running apps, you see the second kind of intermediary would be the cloud servers. The first one being the media players, the app. The second one being the cloud servers, because when we have a WeChat, when people talk to one another, then there's a middleman there listening or manipulating the votes. That's the web services. Thirdly, when we have a peer-to-peer communication from our phone to our home, watching the surveillance camera videos, there's a carrier broadcasting the video into the internet or listening into the smart speakers installed at home. So potentially, the carrier could be the third evil. And how do we get rid of carrier being the third kind of intermediary? And the fourth one would be leastly used. I'm not saying it's leastly important, but it's leastly used. It's a consensus-based web services. In the past, all the web services are controlled by one organization or by one individual. In the future, can we have a web service managed by a set of relevant parties based on consensus? That's why Elastos built sidechains, and on top of sidechains, we implement smart contracts. So in conclusion, we believe there's a media player being the number one middleman, and the web service, the websites being the second mostly used middleman, and the carrier would be the thirdly mostly used middleman, and the consensus-based web services, they are the fourth one. And Elastos is trying to get rid of all the first three middlemen and supporting the fourth consensus-based web services. We're doing all the above, giving demos, the top ones this month. I mentioned briefly that I believe the blockchain actually is built for trust. It's not built for speed. That said, I want to correct the question a little bit. Actually, we're not using the sidechain to increase the speed, because the speed by itself actually runs on the internet, runs on your phones, runs on the Amazon clouds, and basically peer-to-peer doesn't mean you cannot have a cloud. It doesn't mean you cannot have a phone, right? That's when we talk about apps, that's where really the software, the application runs. Sidechain is only to incubate subsystems, because we're building a new internet. And on the new internet, we do foresee there are different consensus algorithms, different subsystems, sub-communities. That's why we support sidechains. The very first sidechain we published and open sourced is so-called DID sidechain, the decentralized ID. So then, given the ID of this new internet being issued by the Elastos public chain, and for every decentralized ID, we're going to assign a personal cloud drive URL. So then, given your ID, we know where your cloud drive is. And also, we built a smart web browser by using your ID to log in the browser. Actually, the execution environment is literally that's on your phone or on Ubuntu in the Amazon clouds. It's running right now. And sometimes we do need sidechains, as I said, to implement supply chain kind of consensus algorithms. That's still in the planning. And again, it's not for speed, it's only for consensus. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 마지막 개별 질문으로 H캐시의 아담 게리 대표님께 질문 드리겠습니다.